Thanks for staying with us. A growing business is one that is expanding in one or more ways. And while there's no single metric used to measure growth, several data points can be highlighted to show a company is growing, such as revenue, sales, company value, profits, number of employees, number of customers. All these factors play such a huge role in business sustainability in Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the leading business locations on the African continent. But when it comes to doing business in Nigeria, there are several challenges that confront a typical Nigerian business. We highlighted the top 5 challenges of doing business in Nigeria, and we'll be discussing them with our co-anchor for today, Abayomi. Now, you may remember him from a show a couple of weeks ago where we were discussing growing a sustainable business in Nigeria. So our top 5 issues are access to capital and credit, electricity and power, or dare I say infrastructure as a whole, government regulations, corruption and bribery, and lastly, market forces. So please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0818-038-4663. So, this is a loaded topic, and I know we've talked about it a couple of times, but it's such a hostile environment for business. Small businesses. In fact, for all businesses. I think it just depends on the size of your cushion in terms of bigger businesses and all of that. But we have so much potential. Yeah. You know, I keep saying that we're a retailer's dream. 200 million people, a largely youthful population. When you see the Honeywells and flour mills of the world merging, you know, you realize just the massive potential that Nigeria presents. And even when we were talking just before the show, where we talked about the output from COP26 and, you know, moving away from fossil fuels, there's so many areas in which we can develop and we can grow. So I think that I want to hear from you, Milola, first, because you are the active entrepreneur.
Why does this always follow my last one?
No. When it comes to this, in this case, you are, you know, with the exception of AK, I think you come next when it comes to the real perspective. And I think your perspective is genuine because you're living this life every day, right? So how do these 5 challenges fit into your world?
Well, there's a lot that has to do with running business in this country. We already talked about this, and I think we can't overflow the conversation because the more we talk about it, the more we can get the value-inspired thought on how best to tackle these challenges. And just like when we had the conversation the last time when Abayomi was on the show, we talked about, I said, one of my challenges is scaling. If I need to scale my business, how do I go about that? And he talked about structure. You need to put structure in place, and I did say that I'm trying to put structure in place, but I understand that structure comes at a cost. And he goes on to say, no, it's because you think it's going to cost you so much money. It doesn't have to be that big. Structure can just be as little as putting a little process in place.
Absolutely.
So without a doubt, challenges of entrepreneurs, and it's slightly because a lot of us start business before we understand how to run business. The hustle is what drives entrepreneurs. It's not pretty much because we want to build 100 years in business kind of structure. We just throw ourselves in the works, and somehow along the way we find a way to sink or swim. And a lot of people actually do sink.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only a fraction of businesses that start out in this country are able to keep their head above water. You know, and you have to constantly keep reinventing your mind consistently. You know, so really, I really want us to discuss this on those 5 points as you made mention of, but I wouldn't want to jump into the conversation.
Okay.
I'll pass the buck right back.
So before we even get to Abayomi as our expert anchor today, I'd like to hear from you, Norma. One of the things, when you talked about structure, one of the things that I've seen over the last few years, really, I mean, I work in financial services, so I see it more than most, is the increase of webinars, even banks offering all sorts of training, events for SMEs, all sorts of advisory services. So in your view, has that made an impact for business owners? Is that clawing back some of these concerns that, you know, entrepreneurs like Milola have, that it's expensive or that it's hard to do?
Well, I would say that it has had some level of impact, right? Because it has created awareness for a lot of people to know some of the things that they have not put in place for their businesses to grow or to experience that development that they're looking to achieve. However, it's one thing to know and it's another thing to implement. Like Milola rightly said, she said when she was told about structure and she thought about the cost effect of that on her business, without looking at it from the perspective of what are the outcomes that can come from this? Are they more profitable than being where we are today? So basically, it's one thing for people to have this awareness that these are the problems that are evident in their businesses, and then it's another to begin to take deliberate and intentional steps towards achieving that goal of what do we want, where do we want to see ourselves, what do we need to get there, how can we take baby steps today towards getting to that point where we can say we are actually growing, or we can see that our business is developing the way we want to see it. So it's that balance that is required, and a lot of people are not yet. Of course, with the situation, it's very easy for you to just look at the situation around and say, oh, this is impossible to accomplish. But really, it's about focusing on the goal and knowing what to do now, however little, towards where we want to see ourselves and as our business, where we want to see our business.
Where we want to see it go. And I love that you talked about where you want to see it go. Given that we're talking about sustainability, Abayomi, of businesses, and we've talked several times about how we have these huge companies. I remember talking about the Okin biscuits and how it was huge in the 80s, and today, you know, we don't have that anymore. And that was from a prominent family. So my question is, when we talk about sustainability, we have an entrepreneur here that has said, or entrepreneurs just go into business. They're not thinking about 100 years down the line. They're thinking about how I'm going to actually survive today. And what is it, the first 3 years is the hardest for business, or is it 5 years?
5 years.
Now, is there, in your opinion, what do you think is there a point I get to where sustainability then needs to become part of my thought process? Or is it something that I start from day one? Because if she's talking scalability, these are things that we've now said, to scale, structure, access to finance. So is there a sweet spot? Is there a point for entrepreneurs today who think, I've started my business, I'm going, where I now need to start thinking about sustainability?
Okay, so Minola rightly captured it, and I like how she also talked about it. But I'm going to come in from that place where you talked about a lot of financial services trying to bridge the gap between the knowledge that people have about business and what they do actually. Yes, most of the entrepreneurs we have today are entrepreneurs by accident. It's not by design. Many people today, you offer them a better paying job, they will leave and go out of it. So they are there for sustenance. So when you're on survival mode, there are so many things you don't care about. So and it's fundamental issue that there's nothing you do on the surface level that can cure it. Then also the financial services, the financial sector in Nigeria is not really trying. I think they are more transactional than relationship. They are just more of paying lip service to trying to show the metric that we are teaching entrepreneurs what to do. There's a difference between teaching for the optics and actually being interested in growth. So you've taught them what they should do. Are you creating products to match their needs? So there's a big disconnect, and I'm going to beat my chest to say this because I've been on many boards, especially between financial services and SMEs, and I've said it point blank that training, webinars, and all this alone will get us nowhere until there's a solution that is matching that gap. So you're listening to them and understanding what do they really need and how can we bridge that gap. And thank God some financial services are already growing up that are already learning to do that. Now, when it comes to growing your business and sustainability, I don't think there's a sweet spot. But I think it's the mindset you started with, the vision. What's driving you? So if my vision is to drive a car from here to Ibadan, and I have another person on the same journey, we're going to go from Ibafor, Mowe, and another person wants to drop at Ogun State, probably Abeokuta. We'll start on the same route, but our vision is different. So what we are preparing for the journey is different. So it's very key that at the point of starting your business, you need to understand why exactly you start and be honest with yourself. Don't be caught in the trap of, I'm doing this business, what's your big why? My big why is to make money. If you're very honest with that, it makes it very easy for you to say, you see what, I want to build this business for 3 years and I want to sell it off. When you meet people that can categorically tell you that, then you know that, okay, this person knows what they are doing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm building this business for 2 years. After 2 years, I'm building it to sell.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm building this business to be acquired. People are building businesses to be acquired by bigger giants.
Yeah.
So they become a nuisance enough, a competition enough to be acquired. And that was their goal all along. So if you're trying to copy that strategy and say, oh, Milola is doing something fantastic, I want to do something like her. 10 years, I want to continue to fight with her.
Yeah.
And then 3 years down the line, Milola has moved. She's in another business.
And you've got nobody to copy.
So when it comes to your business, to building sustainability, you need to ask yourself. I ask this a lot to my clients. How long are you in this for the long run? Or is this for the short while? And be honest, if you just want to fix something, just fix it and go on. I've sold noodles before inside the university. By the time I moved to Lagos, it's okay. I wanted to do something different. It was not coming in at the right time, and I dedicated 6 months to building that business. It's covered my rent, covered my bill, sustained me, and it's helped me build what I actually want to build. And then when I was done, I moved on. Everybody, why did you stop? I said it was time to move on.
So you need to understand
So you
that
were clear. There was clarity. Your
Clarity
vision.
of purpose.
Okay, so that is another thing that we need to talk about. But let's take a short break. We'll be right back. If you just tuned in, it's our ladies/gentlemen night out, and we're asking what are the challenges that impede business growth. So please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0818-038-4663, and I believe we shall also open our phone lines. So please call us on 0702-500-7749. As always, when you call, please remember to turn down the volume of your TV set so we can hear you and enjoy the conversation. So I'll come back to this aspect of sustainability, because that's where we are today. We've highlighted 5 things that impact business. Now, those things, in my opinion, impact the running of business day to day. I don't know that when we distinguish sustainability, which is a business is running, and then how can you continue to go? Does sustainability come into play when we're looking at these 5 things? Or is that my understanding where sustainability goes to looking long term? Or even in today's here and now, sustainability is part of just surviving the day? I think I'll ask it that way. What is the sustainability part of it? Is it making it to tomorrow or making it to 10 years down the line?
Point. Can you highlight it again?
So you have electricity.
Okay.
That's infrastructure. You have credit, market forces. She's going to test my memory now. wait. Government regulations and corruption and bribery. So when we're looking at
finance,
is that sustainability or is that for today?
I think Milola wants to say something. Maybe after.
No, I wanted to understand, because sincerely it jumped off my head. And just so that we can have a meaningful conversation is why I wanted you to reiterate all of those things. Without a doubt, market forces is one of the things. Like currently, part of the challenges we are facing as entrepreneurs is the price hike. Everything has doubled. But then as a business owner, you have to cushion some of those excesses. The price we used to buy stock has gone up significantly. And then you can't just keep changing your price. There's a huge competitive market. If you're driving business online where we sell business, you know that customers are faced with 1,001 options and they're thinking, who do I make purchase from? So with that kind of competition, you cannot just get up in the morning and say, okay, I bought fabric at 10,000 naira today. I'm not going to sell at this price again. You're going to lose customers. They understand that there's a price volatility, a lot of price hike, but then they want you to cushion that. They want you to absorb that, and it affects your bottom line. So then, how do you get around those kind of challenges is what I'm still going to pass back to Abayomi.
We're coming to him.
Because these are the real challenges that we face. I remember when I do my cost of production for particularly maybe a skincare product, and I already built in a margin of how much it is that is reasonable for me to sell. Now I just watch my stock has not increased, but my difference has reduced. Just because when we restock the same thing, is higher in price, and because of that, it's affecting my bottom line. How do you survive that volatile price change. And nobody's going to buffer that for you. No government is going to tell you, okay, let me give you access to facility, or let me reduce your interest rates.
When you say no government, my question would be, why not?
Why not?
Exactly.
Why won't the government do that? Because if you're the engine of the economy, why shouldn't the government do that?
I think you're going to have to ask the government.
It's just, I mean, it's identifying where the problems are.
The ideal work of a government that works is actually more of regulation and oversight.
Yeah.
They should not be a player in the economy. When the government comes in to become a player in the economy, it's when it is the dire and extreme situation. That is when you're talking about bailout for an industry. But beyond that, I don't think so. When I hear people like CBN is in an intervention fund, there's an intervention fund, there's something fundamentally wrong with our policy. And that is the fact. The government should not be repetitively trying to put money into the system. It should be more of creating the enabling environment. See a very good example. Make electricity available.
Yeah.
Make transportation very easy.
Accessible.
Revive our railways. Revive our inland waterways. Make the roads smooth and running. I bet with you, many people would not even need
facility.
And then remove double taxation. Take away the boys that tout, the hooligans on the road who come to harass everybody who is starting something new. And then you see people thrive. You've given them the opportunity to manifest themselves, and then you see things happening. So I don't think it's the place of the government, honestly, only because we have failed over time and it's become so a decay that we're now trying to rapidly get out of it.
Yeah. So I would like to come to one of the points of the 5, which is corruption. I would tell a story why I mentioned that. I have a friend who has a store here in VI. She doesn't have a TV in the store. And one day, the enforcers came into her store in a bid to collect TV license. And she says, I don't have a TV. Now, in my logical mind, there ends the conversation. No? Then they say, but you have a monitor. She says, it's for the till. This is how I collect money. Security. And not even, it wasn't even CCTV, just for the till, to collect payments and all of that. And they said, no, as long as she has a screen, she must pay. Therein comes the back and forth of a lot of calls. We are going to lock your shop. Long story short, corruption and bribery. When businesses are struggling, like you said, with the bottom line, with their margins being eaten away by market forces, corruption and bribery, how is it killing entrepreneurs?
You don't want to know some of the compromises you have to make, because you realize that you're fighting a battle that you can't win. So you have to choose, do you want to negotiate and get ahead? You feel cheated, and it's really painful when people show up on your store and they're going to lock up your property. Something happened to us recently in Ikeja. I, first of all, have received a heavy hand of tax. I was dealing with it quietly and silently. And they came heavy on the entire building and locked up our premises. We couldn't drive in, we couldn't get into our stores. Why suddenly government woke up and said the whole of Impedes should have been residential. Why would they make it commercial? And because of that, they locked up the entrance, restraining access to having businesses. You know, you don't even plan for those kind of interruption and destruction as you go about minding your business, and that is what you have to deal with. So really, it's a big deal. Another major concern for me, before I pass a question to Conley, is electricity. I've had to buy fuel every day for the past 8 weeks. I didn't plan for that. My production cannot run without electricity. So really, maybe Kule is going to help us, because I have to keep bringing it back to you. And let me read a comment by one of our listeners who is really interested in hearing you speak. That's why I'm trying very much not to say so much, but keep pushing it back to your own coffers. It's a good program. Well done, presenters. Please let Kule talk more on all the fine political structure. It would be appreciated if his contact information is displayed on the screen. Thank you, Victor Udo. That is what he requested of you. So back to you again.
Okay, so I think I'm going to go back to what She said, Uti said the other time about where does sustainability come in? At the beginning, in the middle, or while running your business? So if you're going 10,000 miles, so I'm going to draw an analogy here. If you're going to run a 10,000 kilometer race, so the question is, which step is more important? The first step, the middle steps, or the last step?
I would say the last, because you have to make it there.
Yeah.
Is this a question for us?
It's a question for just...
Oh, okay. Say the first, because you have to, the foundation has to be right.
Fantastic.
It's the first for me.
The first for you. Fantastic question. But every steps you took is the most important.
Both the first, the middle, and the last.
If you have ever run before, you know that the longer you run, the heavier your legs get. So, and the one rule that they teach people who run marathon is focus on the next step. Because with those steps come the ability to take the next step.
Next one.
So, for every business, sustainability is the long end. But survivor today is a key component of that sustainability. Because if you don't survive till tomorrow, then you are not sustainable in the first place. So now, that is why it gets tricky for many business owners. The ability to either run the business or work in the business. So many business owners we have in Nigeria are actually employees. They are glorified employees. They are employed by their business.
Yes.
Good.
So because you can't do something else, you can't do anything. You are virtually operational. And for every business that has grown and scaled, the business founder has to be more sitting strategically. Thinking strategically is when you're able to see far further into the future and say, oh, look at the trends in my industry. Studying it, business insight, and say, you know what, with what I'm saying, by December, I'm anticipating an hike. And before that time, I need to stock up some things. But if you are sitting every day, you come to the store, oh, I'm sure you've not done that. By the end of the day, you are stressed out. You go home, you sleep, worn out, you come back again the second day. Now it's not like 8 to 5 for you. You are just like an employee.
You are an employee. Let me
react very quickly. No, even before you say that, I just want to encourage people. We would love to hear from our entrepreneurs. If you're facing these challenges that we're talking about, please give us a call. 0702 500 7749. Okay, please go ahead.
It's easier for you to have a bird's eye view when you have competent hands to take your place. I would love to delegate my work. I would love for someone to be the creative in my business. I would love to hand over the entire process. But trust me, every now and again I've tried to get people. I find people not being able to fit the car. And I hear things like, oh, you have to give them a chance, or you have to train them, or you have to get... Trust me, you're still going back to starting the same thing that you're trying to avoid in the first place. So if you're not going to say, okay, I want people that are skilled, then it goes back to what I mentioned the last time when I said the cost of hiring competent hands is rocket high. So you understand that every business owner wants to be able to scale, pretty much. But then, I, for one, I will speak for myself.
Okay, fantastic.
So, do you understand? So that is where the rubber meets the road. I would love to delegate. I would love to be able to stand on top of it and see how everything works. But when you delegate responsibility and you see that they're not doing it well, you find yourself going back into it again and doing that or micromanaging the process.
So before you let Abayomi answer that question, I want Norma to weigh in on this because your service is very product driven. Norma has done more services. Now, it would be great to hear your perspective because when we talk about having, for lack of a better word, a 2IC or a CEO, CEOs running around with their vision, these things that we've talked about, how does it impact a service-driven business?
Oh, well, of course, it does impact.
Can you delegate to number two?
I would delegate to someone who understands what we're trying to achieve, and that will, part of it will be training the person, giving the person opportunity to showcase themselves and their abilities, and also growing, because the more you take on responsibilities, the more you grow, the more you're aware of your abilities as a person. But it's also challenging because the quality of people, which I could attribute to the quality of situations within Nigerian environs, makes it even more challenging. So I have sentiments towards Milola's challenges, because being able to find, first of all, you're talking, let me take for example, you want to employ a graduate who you expect knows how to be able to take initiative, probably knows how to write, knows how to take notes, things like that, and you find out that they can't even spell. You find out that they can't even write a formal letter or represent you. Maybe you're not available, you can't be in two places at the same time, for example, and you want that person to go, and they don't even know what to say, they don't know how to conduct themselves, or to be able to carry themselves with confidence that shows that I can handle this responsibility that is given. So it takes a whole lot. And I don't want to be so much on government, but with the overall situation that is going on, whether it's the education system here or the quality of education that we have here, determines the crop of graduates that we have to work with. People that, it's amazing, Uti, how young people today, even having or holding a conversation that is forward-thinking or something very intelligent, an intelligent conversation. You have all those acronyms or things like that, the shorthand that they write in WhatsApp or in a formal letter. Things like that. So even the quality of human beings that you have to deal with now is a challenge.
Trust me,
if you have a vision of where you want your company to be, you have that kind of
who do you hand over to?
So I understand that all our entrepreneurs, you're trying to reach us. We are having some network issues, but please, in the same vein you persist in your business, please keep trying. We really want to hear from you.
Okay, so I'm going to answer both together and merge it. Now, there are two ways to look at this, and I don't want you to see it as being theoretical at all. I'm going to be as very practical as possible for you. The problem you have mentioned is there. Trust me. It's alarming. But as an entrepreneur, your daily bread and butter, your daily breakfast is solving problems. So you still have to grow in spite of all this. So how do you go about it? So if you keep getting this kind of employees, and then something is wrong with your hiring process.
Trust me, I engage HR companies. Not one, not two, not three.
I'm not saying I know that, but I'm saying something is wrong. Just because it's an hiring complaint doesn't make it right. If you get what I'm saying. And then again, like I do tell people, when it comes to that place where you have the very low quality of people like that, then you don't get too attached. If you really want to get
you hire and fire,
you keep on going through
turnover, but you're going to have high turnover rates.
And even that, there's a cost to hiring and a cost to training and all that.
You must be ready to, who are the people that I need in my business? And as much as possible. And when I say don't work in the business, it's not even about whether you hire, you delegate or not. Do you set out time to actually go out of your business? If you cannot afford to hire people yet, you've worked probably for some time.
So what I'll do is I'll just stop you there, because we have a comment here from Kolakwa Adini, and he lists a couple of things that I think will add to your conversation. He says factors killing businesses in Nigeria: 1, lack of electricity supply; 2, strict way of obtaining loans from financial institutions; 3, political instability; 4, the ease of doing business is only applicable in theory and not in reality; 5, inconsistent economic system, which is mixed economic; overtaxation, high level of insecurity. And he says, until Nigerian government knows she has no business in business, nothing changes. Good evening. So I'll let Mama take her message so you can sort of address all of them.
Yeah, so this is from Bobby Kennedy from Jalingo, and he says, great ladies and gentlemen of Ways on Plus TV. Nigeria is great in creation, great people, great vision, great in any business whatsoever. Our main problem is the handlers of our country, economy, etc. Strangers want to invest and do business in Nigeria, but many are afraid of sinking their huge amount of currency in a nation claiming to be the giant of Africa. We must stop recycling these old wines in new bottles if we really want to grow Nigeria. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Excellent. So, I mean, there's some key points there that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And I know on the show we've talked about PEBEC and the work the government is trying to do. So I hear you saying government should stay out of business, but maybe we can come back to that and you can give us a bit of clarity, because I think that there's no way the government can ignore business. But as I said, I'm not the expert, so let's hear your views.
So it just goes to what he said, which is all the money that is being piped down and being plagued with corruption, and the process to get it is very difficult. There are so many intervention funds you hear on TV, on radio, government has released. I'm going to challenge you. Can you point to one or two people that have accessed those intervention funds?
I don't know any.
No.
So that gives you an idea of what happens when we've abandoned the process and we're looking for quick fix. The process is, the role of the government is to provide an enabling environment free of any interruption. Provide security, provide infrastructure, minimal and adequate taxation, and allow people to flourish. Then you can now ask for tax in return. Then the economy can grow by itself. But when the government is saying, oh, we think this industry need our help, we have earmarked this also billion naira, we only hear those big and bogus numbers. The active thing in it never actually happened, because then you can see people sipping into the industry who have never been there before. Portfolio industry members. So over time, yes, in the meantime, for the short fix, those interventions are not bad, but they need to be managed properly and monitored. Sometimes I think there is no MIE in our system in Nigeria. There's no monitoring and evaluation, because you just see something is
I'll
launched.
stop you there. So we have our first caller. I believe this is youngest AJ from Ajegula in Lagos. Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Yes, the name is the youngest old man.
Oh, the youngest man. Okay, hello. We've had you before. Thank you for calling again. Let's hear what you have to say.
Yes, I really like the topic. It's about business, and basically that is the main thing now. Business is just the same thing that anybody can do these days. But the funny part is, any businessman that is normal now is not normal. Because a lot of challenges coming up, a lot of fake things, and nobody's considering what's going down there in business. Business is folding up on daily basis, and it's like government, they are taking something else from what is happening in the society. So I really don't know how to communicate them. I don't know who will talk to them for them to see that business is folding up. People are losing their investment on daily basis, and it happens in seconds, in minutes. A lot of business are folding. Business that creates the main employment. Not all these flashy ones that you see on Instagram, but have the real business. It's falling on daily basis. I don't know how to explain this because of the time, but I think next time when you bring to this topic, I will give more enlightenment.
Thank you so much for your call.
Very considerate.
Yeah. So businesses are folding. I think that's a key thing to discuss, because that's an important factor in sustainability, right? And you mentioned something that sort of stuck as we were starting the show. The hints and tips and tricks, and then Milola said, oh, I think about structure. What, for all our entrepreneurs that are listening right now, if you could, if it's possible, is there a checklist? Is there a check 1, do 2, do 3? This is the journey to sustainability for your business. So I may not have started the right way. I may not have structure. I may have started because I saw an opportunity. But how do I now go from where I am today to be sustainable? Yeah, because I think that would be a great thing to leave our viewers with.
Okay, let me give you a disclaimer first. Milola knows that the last time too, I would like not to raise people's hope. There's no magic wand. There's no quick fix to anything. But what I would say is, if you are if you're in it for the long run, if you're in it for the long haul, if you're not just there for the short time, you need to go back to why actually did you start this business, and you need to constantly check that why, because why changes. Why? So why changes? Why? Yeah. Because you're serving customers, and our needs and preferences changes over time. In fact, human beings are one of the most fickle creatures on earth. Today we like this, tomorrow we don't like it. So you need to understand that. And then the second thing is, we don't like being told what is wrong in Nigeria. Be very open to feedback. Like, take it, like feedback is the food of the champions.
Yeah.
Take it like a duty. What have I done right?
It's like it's a Toastmaster.
What have I done right? What have I not done wrongly?
Yeah.
Then the third one, now is getting to the nitty-gritty, is monitor your data, monitor your finances.
So don't give away too much. You have your event that's happening tomorrow, and I know that you've kindly offered to give away some free tickets to some of our viewers. So maybe you could just take one quick minute to tell them a little bit about the event, right? And viewers and participants about the event and how they can get the free tickets.
Okay, so we have Leadership Roundtable Summit tomorrow. Leadership Roundtable Summit, this is the 5th edition and is holding in Lagos, Ikeja to be precise. The whole idea behind Leadership Roundtable Summit is to engender discussion like this, to bring out industry, topical industry discussions, and bring people that have excelled in different parts of the industry there. So tomorrow we have people from real estate, we have from technology, we have finance, we have entertainment, we have a lot of things that are going to be talking and they're going to be dissecting the topic, building a sustainable global business in Nigeria. So we know Nigeria is a very hard place to do business.
Okay, so we have a final, I think this might have to be our final caller. Elizabeth from Nasarawa. Hi, can you hear us? Hello, Elizabeth, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear us? Please go ahead. Okay, I think she might be having technical difficulties. So I just wanted to say, so very quickly, so how many free tickets are we giving away?
5. Okay. The good ladies of Ways have prevailed on me. And we're going to be doing 5 tickets. But if you don't get the ticket to be there physically tomorrow, we are streaming live. Okay. And we can get as many people in as possible for the live. But if you want to be there physically to have the experience and network.
So 5 tickets that we're giving away. So remember, it's on a first come, first served basis. If you are interested, send a quick WhatsApp to the Waze number. So
and register.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll be able to, it'll be first 5, right? And get back to our clients or our viewers rather. So let's quickly wrap it up because we're coming to the end of the show. So I'd like to take your final comments, Milola. 10 seconds if you can.
I comment, I think I'll just... We've already talked a lot about this, and I'll take the conversation outside of this meeting and discuss it with Abayomi later.
Okay.
Because you have to tell me how to make this work.
All right, Norma, let's hear from you very quickly.
Well, business growth doesn't come automatically. I mean, it will have to be done with putting everything in place, like Abayomi has said, and being consistent, diligent, intentional, and deliberate with the outcomes that you're looking to achieve.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So looking forward to you having a great event tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our WhatsApp number is on the screen. So again, if you're interested in those tickets, please do send us a quick message. So before we go, do ensure to follow us on Instagram at @WaysShowAfrica. You can interact with us further. Drop a comment, and most importantly, we have started our giveaway just to say thank you for watching Ways and believing in the brand. So please follow the conversation. Again, our WhatsApp handle is @WaysShowAfrica to see all the goodies up for grabs. I even have a freebie for you, so check it out. Remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch and follow us. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Growth is never by mere chance. It is a result of forces working together. So we'll see you tomorrow live at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Have a good evening.